if these leaders don't do this, if they don't take this time to make margin, what's the end result going to be? Where are they headed? It may not be today, tomorrow, or the next day, but paint a bit of a picture of where do they end up if they don't bake in that rest?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question, and I think that it's a multifaceted answer because I think that it's going to hit in a couple different buckets. I think personally, you're risking burnout was the obvious answer, but then underneath that is you're risking depression, anxiety, potential disease or sickness or illness. Because you're just wearing your body out. You're going to age faster. I mean, all of those things, are impacted by how you live your life. And if you're living your life with no margin, then your body physically is going to suffer. The other thing that I think is at risk is if we buy into what society wants to tell, you mentioned it earlier, we kind of wear this badge of honor. When you're talking to somebody, how quickly do you hear how busy they are? It's usually within the opening minutes of the conversation. Man, how's things been going? How's like, man, I'm so busy. It's this badge of honor. Well,
yeah.
But what's not being said when somebody says that is the sacrifices that are being made either intentionally or unintentionally. And some of those sacrifices include, we talked about it a minute ago, the small business owner desires to have an impact in their community. But when they don't build margin into their life, they're limiting their impact and their potential impact in the community. A lot of times they're sacrificing their families, they're sacrificing their marriage, they're sacrificing the legacy that they say they want to leave to their family, their kids and their grandkids. One of my motivating factors now that I'm a grandfather is when I reach the climactic scene of my life and the credits start to roll and Kelly has gone off into the sunset and I'm living with Jesus. I want my grandson at some point in his life to point to my life and say, Papa did it right. I want to do it like he did it. Because he did it the right way. He built margin. He didn't sacrifice his family. He didn't sacrifice his marriage. He didn't sacrifice time with me as his grandson. He built in intentional times for those things. And yes, his business was important and his business is what helped provide for the family financially. But ultimately, do I want to sacrifice my legacy to my grandson on the altar of being busy? I don't think that's where I want to live. And so I think there's physical personal risk. I think there's personal risk that you're sacrificing when you live from a place of exhaustion and a place of being too busy, all the things that I just mentioned. And then I also think your company is not going to be the company you hoped and dreamed it would be when you don't build intentional margin into your life, because your company is not going to have. Remember when you started your company and you had this passion for this product or service that you thought was going to come into the world and make the world a better place? Well, if you can't do that because you haven't built margin and rest and recovery, as you said, into your life, if you haven't intentionally made space for that in your life, your business will not have the desired impact that you wanted it to have when you started it. And so those are the things to me that are at risk by living your life that way.